What's going on, everybody? Welcome on into the Brass Ring Media Podcast for Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. So pumped to be here. I'm Zach Hadorn, your host. That is Tyler Sage. He is your other host. Tyler, good Tuesday evening, my friend. Good Tuesday evening.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? In the new era.
Yeah, look at that. Do you know what your podcast situation is going to be in wherever the new digs land you? You prioritize this?
Yeah, we'll say. I mean, this might be should be a Patreon exclusive.
Yeah, I know.
I might briefly be podcasting from my mother's basement. So
I love
it. Very equivalent, very good for a wrestling podcast. We'll see. It'll be as I transition from place to place, probably. So, but yeah. That's thank you for the kitchen shout out, Adam. It is a very nice kitchen.
It is a nice kitchen. It's a nice fridge. Looks like it's stainless steel. I love it.
Zach wants to put plastic bags on the overhead lighting.
I mean, you guys should have seen what has gone on in the production meeting that we just had to get this kitchen studio ready, optimal for the show tonight, because that's what you guys deserve. Only the best podcast setups possible.
Yes, definitely.
We are pumped to be here. We're pumped to have you guys here, and we got some good stuff to get to. I mean, last night's episode of Raw, Tyler, was pretty. I mean, I don't think everything turned out necessarily perfect, but I mean, they loaded the show up in terms of stuff. I mean, you had a world title match, King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring. You've got 2 Money in the Banks running around. You've got Cena and Punk coming together. We're going to talk about that. So, I mean, a busy night for WWE coming out of the Money in the Bank PLE that was over the weekend, which I definitely want to get your thoughts on as well. Let's start there. Because we didn't get to go through the show like we normally do for members. I did a member-only review, so you guys can check that out. But what, like, thumbs up or thumbs down would you have given the show if we did the members only show together live? Thumbs down. I had it thumbs down as well. I had it also as a thumbs down show.
I didn't know that, so I was going to wait till I didn't read the newsletter because I'd like to not be surprised. But I figured that would be my guess. You're probably like a slight thumbs down. I was like a pretty convinced thumbs down if I had to guess.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I give it like a slight thumbs down. I think there's some fine stuff on there. But I think, the real story to me coming out of it, because I thought it was like overall, like I thought Money in the Bank, just to give everybody a little bit of a teaser into what I mentioned on the member only show, was that I just thought it was kind of like normally when you think of Money in the Bank, you think of a show that's top 4, top 5 of the year for WWE. And this just didn't feel like that, like on principle. It just did not feel like that kind of a show. But it was trying to masquerade around as it, and it wasn't. What I do think it did was it laid the groundwork for some interesting things coming out of it that started to get flushed out this week on Raw in particular. So I want to get to a lot. Before we kind of take care of some business here, let's start and let's chat R-Truth, Ron Killings. Last night you got R-Truth standing on the announce table. He kind of gets super meta. Thanks to fans for bringing him back. And then all of a sudden just stays in a serious zone. He's Ron Killings. The truth set him free. He cuts his hair on the announce table, picks it up and holds it, and you kind of have a totally different R-Truth. And I guess you don't have R-Truth anymore. You have Ron Killings. What did you make of that? Is that a good follow-up to the R-Truth drama that has taken place in the last, 10, 11 days?
Yeah, I mean, when Truth coming back is like your big cherry on top for a pay-per-view, I think there's a debate in whether that's a good decision in general, but you have to kind of follow up on it, and you have to follow it up in a serious way. So I give them credit for that, but I think in the end, John Cena in his beginning promo was going to be correct about a lot of stuff, including the R-Truth stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel similar. I feel similar. Like, credit where credit is due. You went there in the main event and with Money in the Bank, Truth comes back. You had to follow it up with something, or the hope would be that you would follow it up with something, at least an attempt at something serious, at least an attempt at something real, at something new, at something fresh. And this is that. This is that. Now, I don't know if it's going to matter. I don't know if it's going to change, if it's going to change anything. But I think on balance, the promo was really well done by our Truth, by Ron Killings. I was watching that going like, dude, this is a wrestling promo. And like, Killings is like he's an old school wrestling guy. I mean, he is a Attitude Era and before that guy, like coming up in the business. And so it was kind of fun to see him like drop the R-Truth nonsense and like be like an actual serious person, actual serious wrestling character. Like I'm kind of in on watching this play out, even though I hope it plays out in like the middle of the card. I don't think you need to make Ron Killings world champion anytime soon. Like you don't need to go crazy with this, but I am glad to see R-Truth and that character go away. I know he was a beloved guy and I know he was a beloved character, but I think that character was pretty like unbecoming for a while, especially, under Vince McMahon's vision. I just never felt it. I never felt it as a 24/7 gimmick thing. It always felt like, God, you're making fun of this guy. And I realized that maybe that wasn't the case. I understand that I'm reading that from the outside in, but I'm glad that you drop that and you get to something like just better, like nicer to watch. And I hope they continue on that path.
Yeah. And it's like, can he lose to Solo Sikoa to like revitalize what he is once Jacob Fatu is done working him over? Stuff like that, right? Like an Andrade, him and Andrade, is that like a program? With him and Aleister Black, is that a program? It's exactly what AEW would have done with him and his character. It's funny to see him maybe potentially work a lot of former AEW guys in an AEW style of what he would have done. So, yeah, I mean, it's the right call for what they've done. And is it part of it? Is it not part of the show, et cetera? It's very interesting dynamic with all of this. Yeah.
What did you make of that? What did you make of the Paul Levesque trying to convince everybody, our Killings included, that that's part of the show? He was fired, but no, we meant to do that. We meant to do that.
Yeah, it would be some really good acting across the board. So I'm a little weary that was the case. I guess Carlito. Well, I'll wait for him to come back with an apple, and then I'll know it was all part of the show.
Yeah, man. Look, here's the deal with that. Look, Triple H, we all know he's got a very healthy ego. And look, you probably need it to be in that business at a high level. You do need it to be in that business at a high level in any real role, including head booker now. But man, it would be good for him if he was able to find an inch of humility, like in anything. Like, not everything is like an attack on you, Paul Levesque. And it's like, what's wrong with just answering the question of like, hey, you know what? Yep, we made a mistake. Like, we let him go and we didn't realize the impact that he was going to have. We didn't realize the impact that he had in the locker room. We didn't realize the impact he had on the other talent. We didn't realize the depth and the investment that fans had in him. And as soon as we realized that, man, we brought him back. And that's it. Like, what's wrong with that answer? Like, seriously, like, can you tell me what's wrong with an answer like that instead of having to feel like you need to, don't say anything bad about my booking. So no. This is all part of the plan, when obviously, clearly it was not.
Yeah. I mean, it's a combination of like the machismo nature of the business, but also of corporate America, that like, I would like you to find any CEO or high ranking C-suite executive in any Fortune or Russell 3000. I doubt it's any higher than that, TKO company, where someone would admit any fault to anything and not just be a politician and sweep it under the rug until they can get by. So I think it's just a fabric of both the corporate world and wrestling culture to not admit you're wrong ever about anything.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. I think you're right. I think that is what it is. I think it's a good answer to my question. But it's just like, dude, come on, man. Like, obviously that wasn't, if nobody had if there was no backlash and there was no anything and no We Want Truth and none of that, I mean, that main event at Money in the Bank would have ended entirely differently, and there would have been a different segment on Raw last night than, Truth on an announce table. That just would not have happened. So it's like, come on, don't convince us when obviously we saw the whole thing play out.
Yeah, and like someone like Tony Khan can be idiotic at those press conferences, like to the way he doesn't react to, let's say the CM Punk thing going on, or acting like a fan more so than a promoter. But at least, I don't know, I feel like he obfuscates a little better than Triple H does in these situations.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan, that's talk about an interesting. I think we can do 4 hours on this, but Tony Khan, I think his kind of when I see him kind of like talking about that stuff or dodging a question or kind of just giving like a super corporate AEW pro AEW answer, it doesn't feel like. It feels like no, he feels more authentic in answering it the corporate way than Paul Levesque does. Like Paul Levesque, it seems to me, it's like, how dare you? There's like an ego there. How dare you question my wise booking of R-Truth? And of course, we fired him to bring him back because that was the only way to get. Like, I think there's a lot more ego in the way when Paul Levesque does it than when Tony Khan. I think Tony Khan is a little more. How do I say this? A little more, authentic for sure, but more, I don't know, more fluffy, like a fluffy puppy dog playing with his toys. And don't talk bad about my toys. Like this is my stuff. Like how it's a little just more, childlike, I guess, and less ego.
Well, that's not to advocate for either of them, but Tony's way more secure in his position than than Paul Levesque is too. So
that's true too. We got some interesting comments on this in the live chat. Adam Kidd, one of our premium Brass Ring Media Gold members, says, "I still say they weren't wrong when they didn't renew him. Just my opinion." And I want to bring this up, Tyler, because I hope that this, look. AEW, WWE, they're going to have to make moves that, may not fly well with like every single fan out there, right? I mean, you're going to cut this person, you're going to cut that person, you're going to not push this person, not push that person. And Tony Khan, Triple H, whoever it is, you can't bend to every single whim that portions of the audience have. Like if you think that it's good to let go of R-Truth because of this, and this, and that, and that, and it's a good business move, and you have other plans. Like, 9 times out of 10, I think you have to stick with your instinct on that as a booker and as a leader, and you make the tough call. You make the tough call, and you stick with it, and you deal with the consequences. And just 1 out of 10 times, you kind of rethink. All right, maybe we do have to pivot on this. But I hope that that's a exception, not a rule, because if it becomes the rule that everything gets litigated, in the court of public opinion or Twitter or social media, man, you're going to get pro wrestling shows that are here, that are there, that are up here, that are down there, that are just completely all over the place, and nobody knows, which way is up, and nobody knows who the top guys are. You will land in a spot like that. So, you got to pick and choose your battles as to where and when and how you listen to your audience. And you always want to keep a pulse of them for sure. But you got to be frugal in when you actually move a certain direction. And you have to trust your instincts more than the instincts of everybody watching you.
Yeah. Or you do what was it called? Like the Raws or was there a pay-per-view where people would vote on the matches?
Yeah. Cyber Sunday, remember that?
Cyber Sunday. I was like John Cena versus Randy Orton or Ted DiBiase or Hornswoggle or something, right? Like they loaded it so much to like, well, yeah.
It's all you. You're picking this one.
Yeah.
Audience.
So maybe we'll do that instead.
Oh my God. I love it. All right. Let me just pause for the cause here. This is the Brass Ring Media podcast, and we're live with this show on our YouTube channel here, the Brass Ring Media YouTube channel, twice a week. This is our flagship show. We are here twice a week, Tuesday nights and usually Thursday afternoons. We also have live shows on the channel other nights of the week as well. We've got Robert and Nocturnal Knockout on Wednesdays. We have Ashley on Saturday mornings. Dominic D'Angelo is here with the Daily Hotline every single day. So lots to catch and lots to not miss. To make sure you don't miss it, become a subscriber. If you're watching right now on Twitter and you're not a subscriber, or you're on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, hit subscribe so you catch all of our live shows throughout the week. If you want to take some of these shows on the go with you, all the shows that drop on the YouTube channel also drop on the podcast feed as audio podcasts. So you can watch them here on YouTube, or you can take them and watch them through your favorite podcast app, whichever that is. Either way, search Brass Ring Media and you can download our podcast feed, and you can also make sure that you find the right channel and subscribe. Turn on the notifications. And if you're watching right now, do us a favor and like the video. It helps us out, helps us find new people, find new fans, and introduce more folks into what we do here at Brass Ring Media. We offer Brass Ring Media membership over on Patreon, patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. For our members, we offer a member-only podcast once a week. All of our pay-per-view and PLE review shows, including Money in the Bank 2025. The review show dropped yesterday afternoon for that. We have a Discord community where all of our members hang out. We also have all sorts of odds and ends that pop up throughout the month and throughout the year for our members. So patreon.com/Brass Ring Media is how you can find out more about our membership options. It's only $4 a month to join, to get all of that stuff, all that content that I just ran through. And I hope you give us a shot. Once again, that's patreon.com/Brass Ring Media. As for today, hello to everybody who's in our live chat. We got E, we got Adam, we got Mike and Zach and Joshua and so many more people. Who am I missing here? Sean was in there for a little bit, and Walker was in there for a little bit. Thanks, guys, for showing up. We appreciate you. If you guys are watching live and you want to get in on the conversation and mix it up, please do. We also have Super Chats enabled. That's a good way to support the show. If you want to get a topic in, or you want to ask the show a question, or you want to just rant and rave, either way, we'll read your super chat, and that makes sure to kind of flag it on our system here to make sure that we can get it and get it answered and addressed on the air. So do that, and we'll make sure to get it. We have already one here from Zach, which we'll take care of in a minute. I want to say thank you to our gold members, Adam Kidd and Sean Palikta. Adam already taking part and using his gold membership to get unlimited super chats here tonight. Same thing with Sean. So thank you guys. We do appreciate it and appreciate you being here. All right, let's pivot.
I hate Mariah May's name, just for the record.
Okay, I saw somebody just texted me about this, and I couldn't. I don't know. I could look at it, I guess. But what is it? What is Mariah May's new name?
It's Blake Monroe.
Blake Monroe?
Yeah.
Holy moly! So is she going with is it like a play on Marilyn Monroe? Is that where that comes from, you think?
I would assume.
Yeah.
And then, there's no Blake currently in this ecosystem, so they regurgitated the name. I'm very excited for whoever gets the next male talent to get Tyler, so we can get a proper Tyler wrestler in the world.
Got to have a Tyler. There's got to be a Tyler wrestler in the world.
Yeah, I mean, Seth's name is, or it's Colby. He's Tyler Black. What a great name. He should still be Tyler Black. What a great name that was.
It's a great name. It's a great
name. But yeah, so we'll see.
Blake
Tyler Rex,
Monroe.
the last Tyler I can remember in wrestling. So
Blake Monroe, I mean, I don't know. You know me. The names don't bother me as much as they bother other people. I think if you took out all the even good pro wrestling names and like suggested them today, you'd be like, huh? CM Punk? Really? That's not a good wrestling name, but it works. Roman Reigns is a terrible wrestling name, but it works.
Yes, and Joshua got me. Tyler Breeze, of course.
Tyler Breeze. How can we forget about Tyler?
How could I
forget? How can we forget? Yeah, Blake Monroe. All right, there you go. So nothing even remotely close to Mariah May. So, all right. Okay, let's talk about John Cena and CM Punk and the angle that went down yesterday on Raw and the match that was announced. So we now know that those two will reignite their rivalry at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Last night you had Cena come out and basically ask for better challengers, better opponents. And Punk comes out and you kind of have the two of them in the ring and they don't do much, but they kind of cut a promo on the other. And it felt like old times in a lot of ways, but it felt like hey, this is a rivalry that started 10 years ago. That's now playing out 10 years later. These guys look older. They're a little slower. They're a little less witty. But I do think that there's still some chemistry there. I felt like they're like a rare, to me, they're a rare pairing in that like they just have some chemistry out there. It's like, it doesn't matter what they do. I just think they've got chemistry in that regard. I sense that people want to see this match quite a bit, but man, it being in Saudi Arabia, I think is going to ruffle feathers, and already has ruffled feathers in quite a big way. So, talk about your opinion on Cena and Punk first, and then we'll get into like the Saudi Arabia ramifications and is Punk a hypocrite in a minute here. Don't go there quite yet with it.
Yeah, so we talked about Ron killings at the last segment. We're now talking about Cena and CM Punk. When you look at Cena, he's run through, besides Cody, only people he's like has a history with from another era. I don't know. I know AEW gets the WCW comparisons a lot, but certainly feels like we're watching WCW here with this sort of segment. And in that, I mean, like John Cena being the Hulk Hogan, the guy who's like, I mean, not as over as Hogan was in WCW, but the aging legend who can't go anymore. I mean, not that Hogan ever could. And then CM Punk as the Macho Man character. It feels like this situation of it is like those two going at it in WCW way past, basically 10 years past the Mega Powers exploding in the greatest story of that era. And these guys having the greatest story of a bad era and kind of rekindling it and it being forgettable. It's just kind of how I feel from a historical perspective with these two, of the fan favorite of the era and the people, the main star of the era that made all the money, but people don't really like in hindsight. So that's how I felt here. The promo itself, I actually like Cena's portion of it a lot more than CM Punk's, and that's not like the hypocrite stuff coming through. I just thought like, in general, Punk in this role rings pretty hollow for me as a person and as a character, of like, I don't know, like the whole thing with like, well, when I came here, on my list was not to win the world title, even though I've literally entered the Rumble and the Elimination Chamber and been feuding with top guys that have screwed me over for those titles. And then
Good looking out on that one, yeah.
I was so pissed about Drew ruining my chances that I like killed him in a cage. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, I don't know. It just feels like he lost his fastball a little bit or he just didn't want to fight the writers on this moment. And he's probably also got a little bit of boo-boo face that he's, I don't see this going to SummerSlam. So Punk feels like we're dangerously close to like a pissed off Punk situation where he's like, the fifth guy and there's always 4 spots. Is kind of the vibe here. And he's like getting the Randy Orton spot, not the Roman Reigns spot like he probably thinks he should get. And he's getting the match in Saudi Arabia at noon Eastern time and not going to get a rematch at SummerSlam, I would guess. So there's like a lot of that going on there, and you can feel that energy from Punk. And I think Cena's been consistent. And like, is it a weird thing to be like still talking about R-Truth, and that's like the crux of his character right now? It's how like people are wrong about R-Truth, and then he doesn't really say anything to CM Punk, and he's just like, hey, yeah, let's have a match in Saudi Arabia. Woo! Like the stuff talking about R-Truth, I enjoyed. It worked as a heel thing, and then everything involving CM Punk was like two guys. It was like they were both acting in separate locations. Like CM Punk was in London and John Cena was in LA, and they were trying to do a scene that they're going to mash together in a movie. That's what it felt like to me.
I thought that what the I think you're on the money, like with like talk about CM Punk. Yeah, you probably shouldn't. Like, I get like the gist of the promo was like, hey, you know, this title's making you a monster, John. It made me a monster once before, which is why I didn't want it. But I'm gonna become a monster, and I'm gonna take it from you. But it's like, yeah, Cena should have and could have easily said, well, hey, dude, then what were you in the Royal Rumble? To your point, Royal Rumble last year, you were fighting for a title shot. This year, your Elimination Chamber also. Like, what, there is a lot of area to cover there. So I think that's a shrewd call out. I think what the promo felt awkward to me. I still think that when you watch them, it's there is just an inherent history and chemistry between the two. But I think it was a little awkward because it seemed like the promo was self-aware that people aren't going to like the fact that some fans aren't going to like the fact that CM Punk is wrestling in Saudi Arabia at all, period. Right. And this was set up rather than like to be this just epic showdown challenge of these rivals at Night of Champions. It felt like they tried to set up a scenario where if you knew about CM Punk and what he had said about Saudi Arabia, then this idea of Cena being the one to like drag Punk there and only give Punk his title shot there, and Punk has to go there to wrestle for the title. Like you set that all up to give like a quote unquote story for why Punk's wrestling in Saudi Arabia for those fans. But at the same time, it was awkward because I don't think a lot of fans know that. Some fans know that, but I would say majority of WWE fans probably have no idea that Punk even tweeted that thing to Miz that one time about the blood money. And so you're kind of trying to serve two masters with the promo, and it's rare to stick the landing on something like that. Did you sense that an attempt was being made to do that, or am I like making this up out of thin air?
Yeah, no, I mean, certainly they were trying to do that for like a little wink and a nod. And yeah, you're not really, because people that get it are like, rolling their eyes over it for the reasons we're going to talk about here soon. And then for people that don't know, it's if you're in the house, you're pissed. And that's like cheap heat that I think is lame for any heel to do. But being like, yeah, I'll fight you, but not in this crappy town. Right. Like that, classic, like, man, that was so, I hate that. And it's like, that's go away heat for me, not like strong heel heat. But yeah, I mean, it's that.
I just watched. Sorry to interrupt you. I just watched like this clip of. I think it was Dusty. It was Dusty Rhodes and somebody else. I don't remember who the heel was. It was like a Florida Championship Wrestling tape or clip on YouTube, and it was the same damn thing. Like it was like I'm challenging you to a fight tonight. And then like the heel's like, sure, you're on, but not in this time. And it's just like, man, you're
not in Pensacola, the armpit.
That was 50 years ago. Like we're still doing that. We're still doing that. And so sorry, and it was like I just watched it.
Yeah, no, you're good. And it was just Cena like selling a pay-per-view, which I've seen literally 100 times.
Right.
Of like, hey, I'm not gonna wrestle you, Mark Henry, until Capital Punishment. 2012.
Yeah.
You're there. Just like, all that just doesn't feel good in
2025. I got to go to the chat here because I'm having a hard time keeping up because, man, you guys are having a battle about this, about Blake Monroe versus Mariah May. We've got Adam Kidd here who says, great name. Fits like a glove. I'm going to rename Zach in the Discord. I love it. Zach
Yeah.
chimes back. Blake effing Monroe, are you kidding me? Adam Kidd just is needling. Blake is a beautiful name. Josh
And
and Ryan Major, first and middle name, but not as good as Blake, obviously.
Yeah, everyone just poor Zach. Everyone just who knows what Josh and Adam actually think, because I know they're just getting at Zach here. It's Monroe. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
I usually say Monroe. It's interesting how
I say Monroe.
Yeah, but, so it just depends, like regionally. Usually with the same accents, we're both Midwesterners, but it's just like how the announcers will say that. I think those names are not strong in wrestling because you can, like, Mercedes Monet is a hard one because we say Monet usually, but it's Monet. So if you hear it, so just interesting choice.
We'll see. We'll see what I have to go listen to the promo and hear how she actually said it. But yeah, you guys are going. Here we are.
I think Marilyn Lively would be better than Blake Monroe personally, but
in the end, guys, I promise you, it doesn't matter. I promise. Nobody will remember this argument.
Yeah, if her name was like Booger or Fart or something,
that would matter.
That'd be crazy, but I'd kind of be here for it. She just. It's Fart.
Oh my god, that reminds me of that. Did you ever see that clip of I think it was Beyond the Ring, where like Vince McMahon is pitching like the puke character to Droz in his office, and he's like, he's gonna puke.
Yeah.
That reminded me of that for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, now let's get to the question at hand here. And this should spark debate, and this might even end the fight going on about Blake Monroe or Monroe. Is CM Punk a hypocrite for wrestling this match against John Cena at Night of Champions, or did the circumstances change and he kind of has to, or a little bit of both? Like, where were you landing on this CM Punk thing?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone knows me, I think I almost have to sit at the sideline here. I mean, I thought CM Punk was
your hat on and
yeah. I mean, I've thought CM Punk has been a hypocrite long before this moment. Of somebody who presents himself as like the perfect liberal. Like, he's such a liberal Gen X guy that's like real annoying, but then doesn't actually do anything about it. I mean, like, just in general as a human being, I think at least I know lots of guys like that in my life where, that's, I don't know, even like the coming out in the Ramones crew neck is like, man, pick a better band, pick a real punk band if you want to come out and say you're like the punk.
You're not ripping on the Ramones, are you?
I am definitely ripping on the Ramones.
Come on, man.
One of the a band that made one guitar riff and made it like, if you want to be like a real band, have like a Bad Brains or like a Melvins shirt on. If you want to be like,
all right, I'll give you the Melvins.
Or like the New York Dolls or something, like, some band that actually inspired people. Anyway, but that's like, so CM Punk is like, not that even like the Ramones, like, they're fine, but like, he's a guy that would wear a Ramones shirt to let you know that he's really cool, right? Like, so he's just a very hypocritical guy in nature. This itself, like, as soon as you sign the contract, go back to WWE, I think you're a hypocrite. And you're going to do one of these Saudi shows at some point. As soon as they announce a Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
Is Sami Zayn a hypocrite? Because he's done, 2 Saudi shows now?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
Obviously going to be in the next one with King of the Ring. So it's one of those things of like, there's unfortunately, it's been so normalized now. There's more things that CM Punk has done that are hypocritical. This is just like another data point for me. But yeah, if you take money with WWE, you're going to work in Saudi Arabia, and that's like part of the deal. So anyone signing with WWE is complacent with that. I mean, we're going to talk about it and talk about the show. So are we. So I try not to like levy too heavy a fine for that. But yeah, I think CM Punk has shown his ass before this about being a hypocrite.
Yeah, I mean, I think both things are true at the exact same time. Like, it's like, of course he's a hypocrite. And I mean, like, you can't write that thing to the Miz about taking blood money and, and then take it and not be hypocritical. Like, I mean, that's just kind of definition of the word. Now, at the same time, I can recognize that, the situation in WWE and Saudi Arabia has changed quite a bit since the actual partnership began, right? I mean, when it started, these Saudi shows lived out of bounds from like your regular WWE programming. It was like your normal WWE calendar, and then you had the Greatest Royal Rumble or whatever, and Shawn Michaels would come back, and Goldberg would be there, and Brock would be there, and it'd be all this BS. And
the sumo wrestler that they were trying to convince was Yokozuna.
Yes,
they didn't want to hear that he was dead.
Right, that kind of stuff. Cain Velasquez had a dang wrestling match in Saudi Arabia, right? Like it didn't live in like the same like box that it does now, because now these shows are actually a real part of canon. They're a real part of the WWE calendar, and in WWE world, they're just as normal as going to France or going to Puerto Rico or going to Australia for a show. Like, that's what this is to them. It's like Backlash in Paris. And so, maybe if CM Punk had to decide whether he was going to take money for a Saudi Arabia show 5 years ago, when the shows meant something different in the canon of like WWE programming, he wouldn't, because it's easier to just step away and go, I'm out, just like Sami Zayn did, right? Just like some other people did. It's virtually impossible to do that right now. I mean, there is a reality to that. That's there. You can't just say, I'm not going to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, you could, but like, then you're, I mean, that's you're missing something bigger than just a spot paid for show by the Saudi Arabia regime, right? It's different. But that's, to your point though, I think you hit the nail on the head. If you sign with WWE, you are taking this money, like, because this show is a part of what they do. And so that's the reality. So I think it's totally fine to be like, yes, CM Punk, you're a damn hypocrite, man. But at the same time, go, man, but like, you kind of have to go. Like, you kind of have to go, and you kind of have to do the show, and you kind of have to wrestle the big match, because that's what it is. That's the world that you're in. And I think both things can be true at the same time. And we don't know. Who knows? Like, maybe Punk donates all this money to charity. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows? Nobody will ever know. But I just think that, like, you do the show. I mean, you're stuck. You are stuck.
Well, I can guarantee you, if Punk donates money to a charity, you'll know about it.
Well, like, I remember, like, I think it was Mustafa Ali that would like get booked for a match in Saudi Arabia, and then like post on social media like, the money that I'm getting from Saudi Arabia is going to this show. I don't think you're not going to get that from CM Punk. I don't think so.
No, maybe he'll be on the Cody podcast. They can.
Oh God, dude.
They can glaze each other for an hour.
Let me get to some chats about this. First of all, I got to get to Robert, our partner in crime here. It says, no Ramon slander. I agree. This is blasphemy. I can't let this Ramon slander. We got to do some Ramon's education, I think, Tyler. You got to get your mind changed on this. Adam says here, they can do enough mental gymnastics to think they're making a difference while cashing the check. Yep, that's one thing. Adam also says Bryan Danielson went, and I think he was a pretty stand-up guy. He sure did. Mike says Sami Zayn did too. Adam says the match is going to suck wherever it is, and he is a hypocrite because he was so vocal about it while he was in AEW. Yeah, that should teach Punk not to, you never know, buddy. You never know. We got a super chat from Zach here that I want to get to. And Zach says here, the abject hypocrisy of Phil Brooks is shameful. He's voiced loud objections to the Saudi shows, but now apparently he has a price tag. Just disgusting. See, like, that's an opinion I don't have that same like angry opinion about it. I don't know. I think it's I mean, if you're watching WWE, like, you know, they're doing business with Saudi Arabia. They shouldn't be. It's not a place. It's not like a regime that you should be doing business with at all. But lots of companies do. Lots of them. Lots and lots of them. So I guess I just don't have this impassioned, goal to make sure that we let everybody know how shameful and hypocritical Phil Brooks and CM Punk is. Because I just think, to your point, I think you hit it on the head. Like, look, you signed with WWE. And once you do that, dude, you're going to Saudi Arabia if you're a top guy, period.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends how much you want to, like, continue to remind people, I think, is really the only thing here. I think, like, I mean, there's levels of this. I think everyone agrees he's a hypocrite. It's like, how much are you just, like, apathetic to the fact that CM Punk is a hypocrite? That's kind of where I am, as opposed to being, like, shocked that he had done this. Like,
there you go. That's fair too. Yeah. Yep.
Like, I just, and I think it's all just different of your perspective, and that all is fair. I just think he's, again, shown himself for what he stands for. And first, I mean, the promo that is the most CM Punk valid, like the true CM Punk, is his first promo back in WWE. What he said.
That he was there to make money, not friend.
Yeah. So, like, that's Phil Brooks. Everything else is, like, levels of kayfabe on top of that.
Right. Bingo. And Zach in the chat here says, just because lots of people do it doesn't make it right. He once told Miz to go suck a blood-covered Saudi you-know-what. Now who's sucking one? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm just saying that, like, you'd have to, I mean, again, the entire roster is going, the entire company's going, and it's different for Punk because, he said that stuff while he was in AEW. So he's got to take it on the chin and he should. But I guess I never expected him not to go. I guess that's another piece of this too. Like, there was never a part of me that was like, wow, yeah, CM Punk worked for WWE now. What's he going to do about these Saudi Arabia shows? It was like, no, of course he's going to do the Saudi Arabia shows. Like, there was just no doubt in my mind that was what was going to happen. So I guess maybe I'm less appalled because of that reality too. Like, of course he's going. Yeah.
100%. I think we're pretty on the same page there. We just we'll just have the record show Zach Barber had more respect for CM Punk and what he said he stood for than Zach Haydorn or Tyler Sage did.
Yeah, and
hey, that might be fair. I think Zach would. I'm not trying to get Zach fired up with that statement, but it's just more that, like, that's how it is. One thing on this before I forget: why did they not, like, flip these bookings? Like, why not have Cena, Punk, and Money in the Bank, and do the stupid tag match here? I just don't understand that choice.
That's a really good point. I mean, yeah, I don't know, but that certainly would have made Money in the Bank.
And then, like, honestly, have Gunther win it, Money in the Bank. I don't know. Like, all that would have been way better than how they laid this all out. I think it's been kind of a disaster.
No, it's a good point. And then, or like, why not wait until SummerSlam? And what are you going to do with Cena at SummerSlam that forces you to do this Punk Cena match at Night of Champions? Like, right? Like, what's a bigger SummerSlam match for Cena than that? I mean, I guess Cody.
It's got to be Cody.
Yeah,
with Punk saying that Cody's the best of us, so he's got to fight him after Punk does.
Yeah, which is weird too that you do that match at SummerSlam. But I mean, like, when you read the tea leaves though, like, they must be going there with it, because why else would you do this match here and not that? Interesting. All right, you mentioned it. Or actually, any other final thoughts on Punk and Cena and Saudi Arabia and
Yeah, I'd say that crowd, again, bigger than the Double or Nothing crowd, or similar size, right? Was that in the same arena, Double or Nothing? But that was outside. That was like in Scottsdale. This is like where the Suns play in Phoenix.
Correct.
I'd assume 5,000 less people for the AEW show than what was here for Raw or whatever. But, like, that crowd was dead for most of this, and dead for CM Punk post the entrance. And I just found that interesting.
It definitely is something to watch for sure. Yeah, like, and there was I mean, yeah, they popped initially for Punk, but then, whatever, they did the song thing, and it's just so hard to read that now because, people are singing the song. But
I mean, it might be a Cena thing too. It just reminded me a lot of like a Raw in like 2013, where it's like, hey, we're going to set up this thing and we're going to do it like, let's go Cena sucks. And we're going to be like polite and listen to the back and forth and then be pissed when the match doesn't happen in our city. I felt very like old school and not in a good way. WWE.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, it's a 50-year-old trick there that, doesn't really work anymore. I mean, you saw it coming the whole way, right? I mean, so, all right. You hit on it. We'll pivot. We'll pivot away. If you guys have more Saudi Arabia stuff that you want to get in, definitely drop it in the super chat. I'll try to get to it. Of course, if you can drop it in a super chat, that'd be great too. I'll definitely make sure to get to it there. If you guys have additional comments, we can go back and forth. I know there's people that have a lot to say about Saudi Arabia in general, and a big match like this happening on that show too. So we'll keep that going. But I do want to talk about Gunther and Jey Uso. You had, believe it or not, a clean finish on the show last night in a world title match. I think that shocked me more than anything on the show because I was certain that we would get some kind of run-in, interference, cash in, something along those lines. Like, no way Jay's doing a clean job. But essentially he did. He passes out to Gunther. Gunther's the new World Heavyweight Champion, and Jey now does not have the title anymore. What gives, Tyler? Like, what's up with this? What's up? You do the big title change at WrestleMania, and now you just drop it right back to the same guy. Is this a pivot, or do you think this was the plan, all along with Jey?
Man, I don't know. As soon as I saw Jay's kid walking out with him, I was like, oh, wow, are they going to do this? Not like convinced that they were. That's always
by do this, you mean drop the belt?
Yeah. I mean, whenever your family's with you, it's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, and you have the belt, that's not a good sign for you.
Yeah. I mean, look, Lyra, she won with her husband at ringside like 2 matches ago with Becky, but yeah, it's just never a good sign. So that was interesting. And I thought maybe like a little bit of a red herring, like all of Saturday was, like with Naomi winning and then Seth winning. It was like, oh, here's your surprise. And then that's kind of, so it was hard to tell what the decision was there. But yeah, I don't know. Cause it's like, we're going to talk about King of the Ring, right?
Yeah. We'll talk about that.
So, is Jey just getting another shot? And that's like your SummerSlam is like it's not even a rubber match. Is it the 6th match between the two of them if they do that? And it's like, is this like, obviously we've seen with last night, like Seth is involved in the Cena, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes title, not the Jey Uso Gunther title. So is that just like a sign of that?
Yeah.
Of like, they don't, like that is truly the super duper secondary title. That is the IC belt, essentially, and getting it back on Gunther to then figure out, like, okay, who are we going to go with? Is this like the Braun Breaker thing to get started here? Is this, the Gunther heel turn, face turn, etc.? So we'll see what happens. It just, to me, was like a sign of this belt is for the next 6 guys, not the top 6 guys. This is not Cena, Cody, Punk, Roman, Seth, whoever's The Rock, right? The top 6 guys in the company. That's the other belt. This is for the next 6 guys.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I'll be frank, and I don't think you're wrong. It's a good call out, but I did not take Seth walking out and interrupting Punk and Cena as like, I didn't take it like I should have. I think looking back on it, I was like, oh, there's Seth. He's just reminding everybody that he has the money in the bank. And at some other point, he'll remind people, in the midst of like the World Heavyweight Championship as well. Mm-hmm. But I think it's interesting to call it out the other way in that, like, yeah, no, except he didn't come near the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Like, he only was, kind of threatened or teased or taunted the undisputed championship guys. So that's a good read. I think it's a really good read. I really liked the match last night. I think it was like the best. I think it was the best Jay Gunther match that they've done, including WrestleMania.
Agree with you 100%.
For real?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it was like one of Jay's biggest matches, and not that like the meta of it is like Jay knew he was going to lose, but like that's why he's like liked by the company,
right?
Because he didn't go out there and like phone it in because he's pissed he lost the title. He like went and worked as hard as he's ever worked to prove that he is that guy that should be back in that spot at some point. And I think that's like says a lot about him as a human being. Whether he's my favorite in-ring performer of all time or not, I do think him like coming through in a match where he's going to lose on the Raw main event says a lot about him.
Yeah, and right. I think you're right, and he just has like I think like the character just works so good in a match like that one where he's like the champion, but he's the underdog. He's trying to tap out Gunther and like find and get lucky twice with that, but he just can't quite get there, and he tries to hang on in the exact move that he's trying to use, but he just can't quite hang on, and he loses. Yeah. Like there's like 5 guys in wrestling right now that can sell that as good as Jay can.
Yeah. It is always interesting the mechanics of like we watch a lot of wrestling, and if someone asked me like if we watched a match where they do like the 3 count of the arm thing and then that, it's like why do they do that in this match and not in this match? I'd be like, I don't know.
Don't know.
I can't tell you. I know a lot of like wrestling rules here, and I don't know. Sorry about that. It's just wrestling.
Well, I think it's like does that little arm thing make sense for the match or does it not? And if it does, do it. If it doesn't, don't do it. Like I think it might be as simple as that.
Yeah.
We got Adam in the chat here. Our gold member says he should thank his lucky stars. He even held that championship, and I don't want to be as blunt about it as Adam, but I think you're right, Adam. But I think like Tyler, like a long time ago. You remember this, I'm sure, and our listeners probably do too. You were like, not every title reign has to be a year long. Not every title reign has to be 2 years long. Like that's not, the nature of sports all the time. Like UFC titles are defended monthly. Sometimes they change hands once every 5 years, and sometimes they change hands once a month, depending on like how the fights go, right? Like I think you're going to look back on this Jey Uso thing if he never wins the World Heavyweight title again. And you're going to like, I think you look back on it, or I'll look back on it, I think, fonder than I did in the moment with hindsight and go, man, that was a pretty cool little like 6-month run that they had with him. And they capitalized on it. They made a lot of money off of him. They made a lot of money off of shirts and yeet chants and all this stuff. Like he made a boatload of money in merch checks. Like it's a good little 6-month thing, and then the belt landed back on the big bad heel, and someone else is going to chase now. Like it's not always a bad thing. It's not always a bad thing. And I don't, I think Jay is a centerpiece of your show, but not every centerpiece of your show has to have the title. Like it's almost he's better without it in some instances. And I mean, he plays a better chasing babyface than Cody is right now. I think he's a lot more credible in that role. So, he still has a long way to go.
Yeah. And like of that whole thing, like from a historical perspective, I was running through in my head, that kind of like late aughts is a little tougher for me. I was just thinking in my head of like basically guys who were world champion that really had no business being a world champion. So I've got Jay, I got Kofi, I got Dolph Ziggler. I got Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger. Oh my god.
Was Mr. Anderson?
No.
Because he got hurt and lost his money in the bank.
Yeah.
So who am I missing? Am I missing anyone from that group? Of like guys that are just like
Del Rio. Like what about him?
Del Rio. That's a good one. Jinder. Yes. Jinder. Thank you.
Jinder.
Yes.
Jinder's
Jinder was definitely on the list. So, like, let's say those 6 guys, because that's like a lot of guys to be like, this is like certainly in every couple of years choice that the company makes to kind of go with somebody that it doesn't feel like they were ever destined to be in that position, right? You could also say Big E. I think Big E was always kind of in that spot. He would have been a multiple-time champion if he didn't get hurt as well. But of all those guys, I mean, I think Jay has the chance to be the one that feels the least like he is in that category and the most likely to have multiple runs. That's not like the gender situation where it's just like a trading back and forth sort of thing. So, I just think historically he's in that category, but I would agree with you that it will probably hold up better long term, especially if he's a beloved character.
And I also think that like those other guys, like Jinder, Swagger, Del Rio, like they're failed experiments. Whereas I don't think Jay was ever like given this to be like, hey, we're testing you out as like the top guy. Like I think it was designed as like, you're going to do this and you're going to have this WrestleMania thing. We're going to make a bunch of money and you're going to make a bunch of money and you're going to become this top-ish guy. And then you're going to drop the title again. Like, I guess I don't see it as a failed thing. Whereas like Jack Swagger, that failed. That sucked, like, I don't think this like on balance sucked. Like, I think it just was what it was. And it was what it was always going to be, short-term title run. And now Jay, goes back down a peg. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in that King of the Ring, open slot. Like they have like an open spot in one of the Fatal 4-Ways. Like, could see him like sliding right into that and feeling right at home, like in that role. So I don't know. I guess I'm ranting and raving, but I just don't see this as like a failed run for Jay. I think it's like, this is how it was always going to end, whether it was Gunther or some other heel, like, I think this ended the way it always was going to.
Yeah, it's just the Gunther part of it is like the stuff that's kind of the most confounding for me, of like just the treatment of the character and like what do they do going forward? Because it's like, I don't know. Certainly, I don't know. Like, if it's not Jay, like who is going after Gunther currently on Raw? Like, I'm kind of at a loss for like who is in that spot as a babyface. Is it Punk after he loses to Cena? I don't know. Maybe.
Could be, yeah. I mean, I think in the short term, it's going to be Goldberg. I really think you're going to see him have that retirement match. Like, I mean, they're having the retirement match.
Did he get hurt? I thought he was out. I think I got hurt in training.
He got hurt in training, but it sounds like everything's still on. Like,
no wishful thinking by my part.
Yeah, yes. So I think that's in the cards for sure. It's just a matter of like, who else though? To your point, I don't know.
I should have paid $40,000 for those elite tickets so I could see that in the first row.
Oh my god! I mean, $40,000 for Goldberg Gunther. Oh, that's assuming it happens at SummerSlam. I guess it could happen on a different show. Could happen at what else is coming up? Saturday night's main event. That's coming up.
Night of Champions.
Night of Champions. Yo, duh. Oh yeah, Goldberg's gonna get that. He's unabashedly gonna take that Saudi money. So well, I guess it's in Atlanta. Joshua says you're Saturday night main event in Atlanta. So maybe, we'll see. We'll see. But anyway, but your point stands. Your point stands. They don't have a lot of babyface depth.
No, yeah. And that's like, is it Sami Zayn? Does he win? And then Sami and Gunther, and that's how he gets his world title? Like, that's a pretty good story, I guess. But I don't know. It just feels like that is like truly, to me, the IC title is the World Heavyweight title at this point.
You mentioned King of the Ring a couple times. They started that tournament. I actually think that like it's a pretty interesting little thing. Like, I'm glad that you have top guys in it. Like, I say that all the time about AEW. I rag on them for it. I'm glad that WWE has put them in. Like, you have Cody, you have Randy, you have Sammy and Jay and Braun Breaker. Like, and now they've padded this because they're Fatal 4-Way first round matches, so these top guys don't have to do jobs. But they're all still in it. They're all still in the tournament, which I think helps the perception of these things. Should Sami Zayn win? Should he win this tournament, or is it gonna just go chalk and Cody's gonna win and he's gonna wrestle John Cena at SummerSlam? Like, are we overthinking it? Like, Occam's razor says, no. Of course, Cody's gonna win and he's gonna wrestle John Cena at SummerSlam. Easy.
Is this? I don't know if I have this right, so please correct me. Does the winner get to choose, or is the winner take on
their brand's champion?
Their brand's champion. What are even their brands, right?
Fair, but that's the word. That's the verbiage.
Okay. Yeah, I would say the chalk is the most likely. We've had a couple surprises already. WWE, again, Naomi and Gunther winning here. So we're due for some chalk for the foreseeable future, I would say. That's kind of how Triple H books. It's like, hey, I gave you a couple of surprises. Now, EO beat Rhea on TV, so now everything can kind of be chalk for the foreseeable future. Same thing as how I feel here. So I would say yes. Do you see Sammy and Cody? I don't even have these brackets in my head. Are they on the same side of the bracket? Or
they could face off.
Final. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Cody got booed last night too, for what it's worth, when Punk brought him up. I would say it was like 60-40 cheers for Cody, but for what it's worth. In Saudi Arabia, I don't think that's as much of an issue, obviously. Right. But I would say Cody the favorite. But you could do that. Sammy winning is better for storyline. Like, he needs to win that to get a title shot, and Cody could just get a title shot anyway.
Yeah.
Or you have lose, and then Roman takes on Cody or Cena, and The Rock screws over Roman to set up a match later, all that sort of stuff. So that makes more sense to me, honestly. But
that makes sense too. Yeah, Sammy, like, I think, like, King of the Ring, they need to continue massaging King of the Ring to make sure that it, feels more and more like a really, really big tournament that really, really matters. They don't have it there yet, where it's still this kind of like mid-card thing, I think. And now that you got big people in it, and that's good. That's a start. But you have to make it matter. And I think both Cody and Sammy could do that for this, but it's two totally different things. Like, if Cody wins it, it's like, all right, you got your big time star winning this tournament, and it unlocks this huge opportunity at SummerSlam. It's the top guy doing top guy things. Sammy winning it, it's like the opposite. It's like the underdog is winning the big tournament. And either way, I think it helps kind of give the tournament some direction and a little bit of personality. So I like that they could mix it up and have a match at Night of Champions.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody jumping out at you on the women's side? We know that Roxanne Perez has already advanced, so she's Rhea Ripley's non-factor in this tournament now. So women like Stephanie McCure are in it. You got Jade Cargill who's in it. I think all of those women. I think it's a lot more interesting with Rhea out, because
they spoiled Asuka's return.
Yep. Charlotte, of course.
Charlotte, yeah. A lot of top women. Depends on, again, what you want to do, right? Naomi feels like, she'll probably cash that in.
Did you?
Sooner rather.
I'm sorry I'm messing you up, but Joshua came in here and says Stephanie McQuay. Did you see that segment last night on Raw?
Yeah.
I almost spit up the beer I was drinking after Nikki Bella called Stephanie McCure Stephanie McQuay. Almost cried.
Yeah.
Hysterical. All right, go ahead.
I don't support Nikki Bella content here on this channel. Just for what it's worth. But no, it was very funny. Good for her. She was on the Traders this past year, and she was very boring on it.
I heard that she was not good.
Yeah, she was bad. So she was as good as she was as a wrestling performer on that show. Anyway, it's a lot of options here. Depends what you want to do, right? Naomi, it feels like Naomi, Bianca, Jade. Do you have Jade win, and then Naomi, cashes in on her when she takes on Tiffany? That would make sense. I think Jade would be the dark horse, and then any other story. There's a lot of options. I don't know where they're going to go, which is a good thing, right? With a tournament like this, it feels like kind of like AEW, where you knew Mercedes was going to win her bracket, and the men had two pretty good options. So it feels very similar to that, which is fine. I like the Owen this year. I think I'm going to like the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournament as well.
The matches were good last night. The 4-to-4 ones, like you guys know me. I'm not a big multi-person match guy, but they were action packed yesterday for sure. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign. I like that the tournament has stakes too. The SummerSlam title matches. That's a good prize for the winner. So thumbs up on that. We'll keep tabs on the tournament. Obviously, we'll talk more about it as the weeks go on and as we build to Night of Champions coming up here at the end of the month. Guys, we will wrap it up on that note. Man, we got through a lot. We got through everything on my list in some form or fashion. Truth, Punk, Cena, the Gunther and Jay stuff, King of the Ring, even a little bit of Blake Monroe. Who would have thought? We would have got that in. Thank you, everybody. Listen.
What's the of AEW people to go to WWE? We got what? Lexus King. We got Blake Monroe. We got Ricky Saints.
Some of them kept their names. So like, what's his name?
Like Alistair and Andrade.
Yeah, Alistair Andrade. Who's the guy that I just can't stand? And he's in NXT right now. Oh my God.
Who's he in AEW?
The chairman guy in AEW.
Oh my God.
Yes, what the hell is his name?
Ty Dillinger was his old.
Ty Dillinger was his old name. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Someone in the chat, please.
Someone in the chat has got to help us.
Sean Spears.
Sean Spears. Thank you. Yes. So he kept his name, I guess.
Yeah.
God, is there anybody else?
Probably someone we're missing, but Blake Monroe's the best of those, I would say. Ricky Saints is kind of lame, and Lexus King is just like he sucks in general. So I guess he's not in the frat like Griff Garrison is. So I guess he can't be too upset. I'd rather be Lexus King than Griff Garrison.
Wait, is Griff Garrison is that guy in the frat?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, oh dude, I feel so bad. I'd be like, man, just release me.
If someone pitched me that, I'd be like, I probably wouldn't be, honestly, but it's a bad.
Yeah, you don't want to burn the bridge, but you're like, man, I'm so cooked. I'm
you're in the frat.
Yeah, I'm in the Spirit Squad of AEW. I'm done.
Yes, but even the Spirit Squad worked DX on pay-per-view, so like,
it's true.
The frat's not working anybody. Oh God, yeah. Have they even been on TV since that first time?
What, against the Hurt Business?
Yeah.
I don't
think they've been on again.
They're ROH guys. I think maybe they're on Collision, but who can say?
Sorry, frat. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not sorry. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the show. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Thank you to our super chatter, Zach. Big thank you to our top contributor tonight and our premium gold member, Adam Kidd. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Thank you to Sean Palikta for being a gold member as well. If you're interested in membership, gold or otherwise, head to patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. We offer a whole bunch of perks for our members and hope you try us out. It's free to try us out for 1 week. You can get all the content that we put out in a week for free, and it's all there on Patreon for you. So once again, that's patreon.com/BrassRingMedia. If you're watching here and you haven't liked the video yet, please do like the show and turn on your notifications and subscribe if you haven't. You don't want to miss our shows here, the Brass Ring Media podcast, or the other shows that drop on our channel throughout the week. It's a appointment viewing for wrestling fans, so don't miss it. And if you need to take our shows on the go with you in the car, at work, at the gym, wherever, we do offer them all as audio podcasts on the Brass Ring Media podcast feed. So just go to your favorite podcast app, wherever you get your podcasts, search Brass Ring Media, and it will be right. It'll be right there. It'll be right there. Mike says, join everyone. Mike said everyone join, and Adam said join everyone. Mike says here, and I agree, it's worth it just to chat with Adam. Yeah, dude, Adam keeps our Discord entertaining, fun, nice. It's a great environment. He's a leader in that environment. So, appreciate you, Adam. Thank you. And thank you, Mike, for the kind words. Guys, we'll see you on Thursday for what will be surely a more AEW focused show with a 4-hour Dynamite to discuss, and lots more in the lead up to All In.
Never been more excited for the hockey season to be over. I love hockey, and I don't want it to be over, but I cannot be doing these 4-hour Wednesday night.
Dude, I was watching last time, and I think it was actually like a pretty good show. But you can't stretch 4 hours of TV on a Wednesday night and make it like excellent. There's just no way. And so by the 90-minute mark, I was just like, okay, this is why I don't watch Ring of Honor, because I don't want to see these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. So yeah, 4 hours tomorrow. We'll talk about it on Thursday. There will be a nocturnal knockout episode tomorrow with Robert. So mark your calendars, 6 p.m. Eastern, or excuse me, 7 p.m. Eastern. Tyler rubbing his face 4 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna verbalize it, but you can see the face rub before, as you reminded me of 4 hours.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Come on back and have a great rest of your Tuesday and good rest of your week. For Tyler, I'm Zach. See you later.